Okay, everybody, welcome back. So, for this video, I want to talk about maintaining your independence and your identity when it comes to love. And first, I wanted to start off with this question because I was looking at this cognitive therapy video, kind of learning like about your mindset, and they had been talking about people who are like kind of searching for their independence, and then they had asked what is it about independence that makes you feel abandoned? And that was an intriguing question to me because I kind of had this same sense of abandonment or just this fear of being independent. And it would show up in relationships and also in me trying to pursue things and do things for myself. So it's like when you think about it, if you have these underlying beliefs where you feel like being independent means you're going to be abandoned, just imagine how that would play out when in love experiences with your partners. Because a lot of people who have insecurities or feel like they want someone to provide or take care of them, they'll kind of feel bad when their partner I guess they want to make their partner feel useful, but it's actually them depending on their partner for that reassurance and, feeling like you have someone there for you. So it was just interesting. It made me think like you kind of, especially like if you're exploring dating or being with other people and you want to give them that freedom to like come to you and approach you, but you feel like if you're not pursuing them or showing up and trying to get their attention that they're gonna forget about you, when it's actually the opposite. Like you're no longer putting pressure on them or thinking that you have to put effort in to be noticed, especially when you feel like there's competition. A lot of us will have the assumption that if someone's not giving us attention, that they're not thinking about us, when that's not always the case. Like people are just literally living their own lives, dealing with the stuff that they have to do on a daily basis. But if you're an insecure person, you're going to automatically assume that whatever people are or aren't doing is automatically a reflection of you not being good enough, when that's just the way that you're thinking and it's not necessarily what the situation means, whether that's being in no contact or you just haven't heard from the person for whatever reason. If you have these biases for yourself, you're automatically going to assume it means something negative, when your person could be missing you and you just don't know it, or they just haven't expressed it yet. But if you're always going to the negative possibility or the negative interpretation of things, you're going to drive yourself crazy, and then eventually it'll play itself out because you believed in it enough. So I think that was just something interesting, and it made me recognize that's what those feelings that I was having just in terms of, feeling abandoned even though people aren't really doing anything. It was just my automatic assumption that if I became this secure person, that somehow it wouldn't allow me to interact or connect with people, when most people will find that confidence and independence attractive, and usually that's what draws people in before you start messing things up with doubt and fear and just being overly critical of yourself. When you start diminishing yourself, that becomes less attractive, and it just automatically pushes people away without you even having to say anything. So I just think it's important to recognize your sense of self when dating. Like your status or your identity should not be based around your relationship, because if you're caught up in that and for whatever reason the relationship goes south, or it starts to have a little bit of distance, you're gonna lose who you are, or you're gonna automatically feel like you're not good enough because of however the circumstances may seem, when things could change, or maybe things are fine but your negative mindset is the only thing that's interpreting things as being bad. Like people don't understand that there can be natural highs and lows without it meaning things are crumbling, or that things aren't just going to turn right around and work themselves out for you. So If you don't know who you are without your partner, being with one isn't going to resolve that. So it's important to establish your identity and maintain that independence within a relationship, meaning you still have your friends, you still have your life. Like, your life is whole and full and satisfying because it's yours, not because you needed somebody to come in and distract you from the things that you've been avoiding dealing with for your own good. Like, you want to be able to say that you have quality of life because you genuinely love who you are and the things that are currently in your life. Obviously, it's nice to grow with people and have that support and that appreciation and someone rooting for you, which is going to be natural for any partner or person in your life who plays that supporting role, but you can't make them the center of attention. And that was my biggest struggle, feeling like my life wasn't good enough for me to be enthusiastic and excited about it, because, you know, just after being let down, you kind of feel frustrated and you feel like other people's lives seem better than yours. But it's not necessary to have that competition. Like, you should never compare yourself to anyone, because you don't know what they're going through or what they went through to get there. And it's just, you just want to get to the point where you love your life regardless of what people are doing. Like, you want to be satisfied with who you are. And if you're not there, it's an art that you have to practice looking for the good in things until that's your natural way of going about things, or that's just your natural identity. So it just takes practice and the willingness to focus on what's good about yourself and the other things you have going on, and just trying to change things to the point where you feel good about them. So when it comes to love, you just kind of have to know who you are, and even just redevelop and redefine yourself. If you don't know who you are, who do you want to be? I think the biggest thing is that a lot of people have the assumption that when you get in a relationship, that whether it's men or women will smother you or take things away, and that's not the case. Maybe that might have been your experience or what you've seen, but your partner, like, they only add, they can't take anything away from you. And if you believe people have the power to do that, then that's your own insecurity, that's your own victimhood. And a lot of it is the result of how we grew up, because our first experience with love is our parents, and we see that even though they love us, since we can't take care of ourselves, they kind of have control of our independence because we don't have that power. We're not, big enough to take care of ourselves. And sometimes that'll spill over into the relationships that we have, and we automatically assume taking control or doing things for other people is a necessary part of relationships, when you don't need to have it be so reliant on needing somebody to the point where you feel like you don't have the power to do what you want for yourself. No one's job was ever to make you feel less than, or that you needed a provider. Obviously it feels good, but it's not a requirement. And ultimately, if you desire that for your relationship, there's nothing wrong with that. But you just have to get clear on what you want and what you would like people to do for you, how you want to be treated, and then you meet your match. You look for someone who has the same values and the same qualities for whatever you're seeking. And if it's natural for them to desire that, then they'll naturally give you whatever support that you need in the way that you see fit. So it's really no right or wrong way to have a specific relationship. You get to decide, and you get to choose what you think is best for you and what feels the best for you. But don't ever force it on anyone. The key is give it to yourself first. Become stable in that so that you know how it feels. And then when you connect with someone, you'll naturally feel that essence within them without it needing to be forced. Like, they'll just naturally want to do things for you, and it makes them happy to do that. So just create your new identity when it comes to love. Maintain and be secure in who you are, and the rest is just going to be easy. It just takes practice having those expectations and actually sticking to those standards. But it does exist. You just have to believe in yourself and know that you are deserving of whatever you want.